Here we go.
We're live. Can you guys see yourselves?
Yes, sir.
I can see myself.
There we go. Fantastic.
My favorite view. Hey, do we have anybody on there? Who do we got?
We got everybody in here. We got
everybody?
Yeah. Go ahead, sir. We're not talking.
All right. Hello and welcome back, guys. This is the start of a very special edition of David's Vegas podcast. I have my guest here, Mr. Brian Stanton, and you are... Who are you with?
I'm the Vice President of Casino Operations at the STRAT for Golden Entertainment.
Yes, fantastic. So, by the way, I'm going to introduce a little bit of kind of how we met. You have known Alex for quite a while.
Yeah,
since
10, 12 years, something like that.
Since your days at the Wynn?
Correct.
At the Wynn. So, Alex, of course, as many of you know, used to be a dealer at the Wynn. He has a long, storied career at the Wynn, dealing high limit. Many stories are on our channel, of course. And so I originally met you at the Sahara, and we worked together. Of course, we have a dealer's school, and we needed our dealers to get jobs, and we came and met you, and you helped us facilitate that, you know, moving dealers over there. So that was fantastic. Okay, so we have a few questions because this is the first time we've had, you know, someone big in the business, and we're gonna collect your questions. So any of you
big,
can have.
like I'm 6'4",
You are
240, or
tall
like
too, yeah.
Big important.
Big,
You got to
big,
clarify.
important, big. We've had UNLV, so we've had we had Scott Morrow.
He's more important than I.
I don't know. Well, Scott, I don't know. We'll talk to Scott later. Scott's out there somewhere. Hi Scott. Hi Karen. How you doing, guys? Oh yeah. So just in terms of like on the totem pole of the whole casino business, and of course we are a casino channel, so. We're gonna love hearing your insight. We've got a few topics, but first we're gonna kind of get to know you a little bit.
Sure.
I've gotten to know you over the last couple of years, but we're gonna kind of introduce you to our audience. Okay, so how did you get started in the gaming industry?
Like anybody else, really by accident. I was in college, didn't know what I wanted to do. Thought I wanted to be governor of Wisconsin. I was on my way to law school. Just decided to take a semester off, and my parents are like. Doesn't work like that. You go to school or you have a job. You don't just get to, be a bum and go to the bar and take a semester off. So just randomly, just to get my mom off my back, I said, hey, I'm going to go deal at the new tribal casino, Potawatomi, that's going to open up soon because there was a billboard. We need blackjack dealers. So the...
Is that it?
That is it. It didn't look like that when I worked there. That hotel is brand new. It was when I worked there. It was a corrugated aluminum building with some slot machines and bingo, and then they just threw 25 tables in.
Wow, just so all about the casino.
All about the casino. That's all it was. And I really just thought I was going to buy myself some time because I was caddying at Whistling Straits, made good money so I could pay my own bills.
Okay.
And the very next day, I woke up hungover to my mom calling me saying, "You have an interview with the director of table games at Potawatomi, Jack Simpson." And I'm like, who the hell do you know?
Wow.
And sure enough, one of her clients, a friend of hers, made a call and got me an interview, and I started dealing, and the rest is history.
So how did you learn how to deal? Like, you went to a school?
No, so honestly, I learned how to deal. A friend in college, his dad was a dealer in Atlantic City and started a party company. So I learned how to deal poker and some blackjack at these private events. Yes. And then Potawatomi hosted a dealing school for all new hires. So I was one of the few outside hires because they knew the dealing job was going to be a good paying job.
Okay.
So a lot of their security, bingo people moved to dealers.
Yeah, back of the house to front. Because dealing, great job. We do that a lot here. We had like housekeeping. Come to the school. They're at their one property. We've had a few pick clerks. They see the dealers and they want to be dealers themselves. They become dealers. So yeah, so I knew that about the Casino Fun Night thing is fantastic because we're Casino Quest is going to start to work with that as well. So it's a great way to see if you like to deal or you like that environment. There's a lot of Casino Fun Night companies out there. Okay, so your first job is this one.
Correct.
Before that, you Casino Fun Night, and then but your first actual casino was here, and then so you come to Vegas, and so you ended up as a dealer here, or did you?
So I started out as a dealer, and then after about 8 months, I broke my ankle playing basketball, and I'm like, all right, perfect transition. I'll go back to college. And my boss is like, yeah, go back to college. Casinos need lawyers too, but why don't you be a floor supervisor for us? Because the dealers were making so much money than the floor supervisors there.
Right.
They couldn't get anybody to dual rate. Yeah. They're like, hey, put a cast on. We'll lean you against the podium. Say yes, go ahead. We'll teach you the business. So I kind of went that route while I was waiting for school to start. So I got promoted and promoted again and promoted again. And
Wow.
Just kind of followed that path.
Okay, so at some point you decided to come to Vegas.
Sure. I went to Florida
Okay.
for a brief stint in between because my bosses went down and
Okay.
opened up the Ocean Jewel.
Oh, there it
And
is. We couldn't find. we could only
It's
find the
amazing
ship.
that you found that picture.
Really?
Yeah.
And there's no boat left, huh? The
No,
boat's
no
gone?
boat left. So they bought a 7-deck ship. It was a hospital ship in the Mediterranean, and they converted it into a casino. Basically, a bunch of rich guys are sitting on their yacht in St. Petersburg, Florida, watching the cruise to nowheres, where you have to get on, cruise for 2 or 3 hours, get out to international waters, gamble for 2 or 3, and come back.
Yeah.
And they had the idea to just shuttle people back and forth to it.
I mean,
so it was a floating casino in the Gulf of Mexico.
That makes sense. I was involved in something like that a while back and got offered a job just outside Japan at the time. I had some friends of mine ended up on like an oil, some type of oil thing that they had converted, and they were bringing people out on helicopters to play. You know, they had to go to international waters, same thing. I mean, this takes place a lot of places, obviously, because, you know, the rules are different there. But, all right, so you come to Vegas. So you decide, so you come to Vegas, and where do you start at Vegas?
So I got in the car. I needed a job with health insurance to take care of my family. I'm like, I'm just going to drive to Vegas, find a job. And while I was driving, I got a call and got an offer to get an interview at the Wynn. So that was kind of what I was looking for. But when I got here, they weren't hiring. And I had some friends that worked in the business, and they got me a job at the Rio.
At the Rio, it's, of course, as many of you know, I worked at the Rio. But you worked at the Rio kind of after I was there. So I worked at the Rio when the Marnells owned it.
When it was good.
And when it was good, yes. Toke rate was phenomenal. I made like 75, 80 grand. I mean, it was like a 300 plus a day toke job. It was one of the best jobs in town, comparable to what like a Cosmo is today. And but it had you know, it had some few setbacks over the years. Basically, they just took all the money out of it. They just didn't, you know, they just stopped investing. Okay, so then you get the call.
I get the call. I'm at the Rio about 8 weeks, I think, and I get the call right before that first Chinese New Year at Wynn in 2005. It is, I think, 2006. And hey, we need you to start. We're crazy. And I worked 28 straight days and about 20 12-hour shifts to start my career at the Wynn.
Just straight on the floor. Now, was this when you were sharing tokes?
No, this is before.
Oh, this is before, because a lot of us have heard of the lawsuit where the Wynn wanted some of the tokes to go to the supervisors. He felt like the supervisors, the Wynn dealers are making like incredible money, which of course, Alex was a Wynn dealer.
He was.
We're all jealous of Alex's reign in the casino business. Okay, so I guess we've already gone over. So when you went to the Wynn, you're no longer a dealer at this point. You're just straight supervisor.
I left Milwaukee as a pit manager, and then I was an assistant shift down in Florida. And then when I came out here, I was a floor supervisor at the Rio, and then a floor supervisor at the Wynn, and then got promoted into some backup roles there.
Okay, so when I meet you at the Sahara, you're director of table games.
I was the casino manager at the time, and then I'm not sure where you fell in. I was the acting VP for a little while at the Sahara towards the end.
And then the STRAT calls you.
Correct. There was an opportunity. The job was open at Sahara. I didn't get it. They brought in somebody else, so I kind of put my name in the ring at a couple other places, and the STRAT gave me a great opportunity. They pitched me on the vision of the rebrand, the remodel, and what Golden wanted to do with it, and to be able to put my stamp on something like that, really felt like it was a good opportunity.
So it was interesting. I'm going to add this. You're going to like it when I get to the end. This isn't one of those. So when me and Alex, we talked to, we had talked to Brian a lot, and there was a lot of people that we knew who had heard about you moving to the STRAT.
Okay.
And, people have different opinions about the STRAT over the years, of course, you know what I mean, where it's located, these kinds of things. And our thing was, me and Alex were like, well, the thing is someone like you can move the needle at the STRAT. I mean, it's a game-changing type of thing. You know what I mean? It's like, so you end up at jobs. A lot of people take sort of the easier routes, the easier path. They look for, let's say the Wynn brings you back a casino manager, or nothing. We love the Wynn.
Of course.
But if you can move the needle at the STRAT, I mean, that's like, a big, I mean, especially in this business, So I guess so the next part of this, and I know I have some questions about like customer experiences, but so here's our observation, and it's been a tremendous sort of experience because we play there now. Thanks to our relationship, you let us live play there, and everything that's been done. You move the casino, in front of the escalators, which I mean just seems like a no-brainer because
That's where it originally was, is my understanding.
Oh, really?
After Vegas World expanded in the Strat, my understanding is that was the original pit locations.
Okay, but then you lightened it up. You sort of, I mean, it looks so much more modern. The colors are much more so. I mean, kudos to like everybody who played a role in sort of evolving that space, because you go in there now and it just feels much more contemporary. Yeah. It feels very energetic. You know what I mean? It used to be the lighting wasn't so good back in the day. It was a little depressing. All right, so many years ago, I used to play at Resorts World, or when Bob Stupak owned it. It was a very kind of gimmicky thing before it was converted to the Stratosphere. And, they originally had plans to make it higher.
Really?
And, 100 feet or so, another 100 feet. He wanted it to be the tallest thing, not just like the tallest thing west. What is it, tallest west of the?
Tallest west of the Mississippi is. Yeah.
And they wanted it to be, he wanted it to be like the tallest thing ever. I mean, this is Bob Stupak. Yeah. I mean, he was all in with this. There was also to have King Kong going up the side. They were going to have it right.
Hearing that, yeah.
Yes, he wanted to have people. You got into King Kong and you literally like went up the side of the Strat. Of course, that got voted. The last thing that got voted down, which was really interesting, I was just getting involved with working in politics at the time, and they had a roller coaster idea that was gonna like go across the street, and amazingly, all like the Naked City people got together, and they're like, no, it's gonna be too loud. It's gonna keep us up at night and this kind of thing. But anyways, all right. So I digress. All right, so. So far in your career, what achievements would you consider as like, what are your greatest achievements? Do you have any regrets? I mean, this kind of thing.
I try not to regret. I try to, make a decision thoughtfully, and, leaving the Wynn to go to the Sahara, tough decision. You're leaving the premier property, the premier name, yep. And everybody's like, how could you go there? And then, then I move even farther north to the Strat, which historically was not a popular property.
Yeah.
But I like challenges and I like opportunities, and, and I'm loyal. So people that give me opportunities, I'm going to be with them and give them everything I have. And so the remodel of the Strat is one of my proudest accomplishments, because Golden did an amazing job. They put their money where their mouth was. They did a great job. Blake's got a great eye. The designers and the architects did great, and they really gave me carte blanche to make the casino what I wanted it, as far as tables and chips and layouts, and really put my own stamp on it.
I mean, I have to tell you, if you haven't been to the Strat, and this isn't, I mean, you guys know me well enough now, you got to go. So a couple weekends ago, I tried to visit, and the parking lot was full. I never in my life experienced, that was never a thing. You wanted to park for free on the Strip, you could start at the Strat. Yeah. You could park in the parking lot and walk up the street. I used to literally park in Strat parking lot because there was always space, and I would do a walk. It's like from there, I think it's like 4.5 miles to get all the way to the other end, or near towards the Trop, and then back. And it was packed. I mean,
we've been very fortunate. People have responded well to the remodel, to a lot of the things we've done in the casino, and we try to give them, even during the pandemic, we take all the safety precautions that we need to make sure everybody's having a fun time, but we tried to give them as authentic an experience as we could under the pandemic experience.
So another interesting thing, we have a huge following of craps fans, is you guys have 2 crapless craps tables going all day long, and just 1 regular craps table. What happened?
It blew my mind. So that was one of the things when I knew I was taking the job. I knew a few months before I started that I'm like, there's no way I'm keeping this. This is a gimmick. There's no way it's going to do what craps does. And believe it or not, I go in and look at the numbers, and the drop is comparable, and the hold percentage is comparable, and people love it to the point where we did only have one in the new remodeled casino, and I had so many customers. We had such a hard time closing the crapless game and getting the craps game open because so many people wanted it that we put a second one in, and it's to the point now where I have other casinos calling me saying, who owns the rights to this? Who are you paying for it? And Bob Stupak never patented it. It's eminent domain.
Well, I mean, because it was a Bob Stupak
take.
It
was Bob Stupak invention, but it's open. Anybody can put it out. I think there's a few placements in like Mississippi, but I'm hearing now there's a few places in the city that are actually putting it in.
So back in the day when I dealt the Bird game, 25-cent crap table, sadly I didn't have the same opportunities at the Wynn back in the day, but. They were craps.
Has Alex ever dealt less than a $25 table?
Nah, I know, right? That's true. He's a lot of high limit acts. No, look at him. He's so smug, little bastard. So the Little Caesars, where Paris is now. It used to be a little strip mall, and Little Caesars was famous for having like the bird game, crapless craps game. That's where you played if you want to play 25-cent crapless craps. Of course, you look at some of the people on these low-end tables now. I mean, this was literally like the end of the road. There's a cab driver central, a lot of bookies. You know what I mean? I guess it was. But anyway, so Bob Stupak had a famous relationship with Little Caesars. Little Caesars took Bob Stupak's $1 million bet in, I think, 1995. I forget the exact game, but it was the one at the time. It was considered the biggest sporting bet ever made at one sporting event. And he won. So he bet $1,050,000 and he won $1 million. He had to pay 50,000 juice. He took 7 points. I forget the team. It's in one of my Urban Legends thing, but he won the bet. This little rinky-dink casino. They were known for setting up the lines. They used to have a phone bank that sat outside, and bookies would be lining up, calling in the lines to the East Coast because this guy was the guy. Little Caesars was considered like the place where they made the line, and other casinos would sort of share the line, or they would sort of follow that lead. But yeah, so it's kind of amazing that I agree that it's got to be, at least for now, this is like a crowning achievement. I mean, just so well done. We had a number of people that just told us, like, what the hell are you doing? You know what I mean?
I had a number of people telling me that too when I told them where I was going.
It's amazing, but if you see it now, it all makes sense. Like it's literally genius. All right.
And don't get me wrong. My first day when I'm going through you're walking through the old building and the carpet, and I'm like, what did I get myself into? It was tough to see the vision, but man, it turned out great.
Yeah, no, it's coming together. I mean, if obviously COVID put a few hills in the road now that we're all working through for everybody. All right. So by the way, we're gonna
Real quick. Mr. Rob B, thank you for the $10 donation.
Thank you, sir. We love Rob. Mr. B is a regular. All right. Yeah, we're gonna we have super chats, so people give money here and there. They got to pay for the light bill, this kind of thing. All right.
Do I get a cut out of that?
I got to cut later.
Parents fee?
Yeah, parents fee. Look at this guy. It's a comedy show. It's turning into a comedy show. Who knew? All right. So here's the thing. All right. So we know you got a whole bunch of you got a lot of stories. You've been in the gaming business a long time. All right, so here, what's your best customer that you've ever had, or customer experience? If you don't,
Yeah, so obviously you get a lot. Usually those revolve around tipping, but I've some of my best friends are guys that I met in a casino.
Oh.
They became regulars, and you just talk to them, and once you move on from a job, you become friends with them. So I have a friend in Boston who's a lifelong friend that I met at the Wynn. And, since I've been gone from there, when I go to Boston, I go to see him, or when he comes out here, we go have lunch or dinner. I have a guy from Maryland who actually just moved here to Vegas, mainly because of the people he met when he was out here. He's like, I have more friends in Maryland or in Vegas than I have in Maryland. So those type of guys are meaningful, but, the fun stories are always, guys that go on crazy runs and tip big. And the most memorable one of that is we had a guy, $200,000 line at the Wynn, and he's down 190 of it in the high limit room, walks out with 10,000 into the blackjack pit, bets 10 and wins, bets 2 at 10 and wins, bets 3 at 10 and wins, and turns that 10,000 into a little over 1.2 million.
Wow.
Tips the dealers about 200,000.
Wow.
And this is before the toke sharing, and he comes out and he gives me a hug, because we're bantering back and forth.
Yeah.
I like to give the customer what he wants, and he wanted that whole frat guy experience. Hey, bust my chops a little bit and let's have some fun. Yeah. And he slips a $5,000 chip in my coat pocket, and I don't know it. And he gives me a hug. He goes, hey, make sure you don't take this to the dry cleaner. And I'm like, yo, what are you doing? And I'm like, no. And I gave it to the dealers. I'm like,
no.
Like, I can't take any part of that.
Yeah, but wow. So runs $10,000, the last 10,000, up to. I have a story where I was in 100 and I ran $5 on a keno machine up, but that's different. Anyways, we won't bore anybody. All right, so what's your worst customer experience? What is a worst? You got to have plenty.
There's tons of them.
Yeah.
I've got a pretty mild-mannered temper, and it's funny, I always got some of the worst assignments because I'm a big guy, and I don't take things personally, so I get a lot of the jerk-offs that, you have to deal with. And, the most memorable one I think I shared with you a little bit earlier was, a guy who's really just evil, mean, saying awful things, and he looks at me at one point and says, I hope your body gets riddled with cancer and you die, and on the way to the funeral your family crashes and burns alive.
Oh God.
It kind of is what it is. And then he loses all his money and he starts crying real tears, and I'm like, I just kind of giggle at him, and he's like, I want you fired, I want you out of here. So you get a lot of those
Yeah.
guys that just can't handle gambling and scream and cry, and I kind of find those amusing.
Dude, you gotta have it's amazing. In this, it's like the higher the limit, the more entitlement in some cases.
Of course.
We were at the Rio. There was this famous roulette player. I won't name it, but they would put out a list in the dealer's lounge of like all these things. You couldn't look at the guy, you couldn't wish him good luck. I mean, I one time had Wendy's. What was his name? Bill Thomas. I think that's his name.
It's Thomas, but I don't know if it's Bill. It's something Thomas.
Yeah, I had the Wendy's guy. Actually, I lost a little weight, and
Thomas.
Dave Thomas, that's it. Dave Thomas. I didn't even recognize it, but he had a valet with him. His valet, because he's Dave Thomas, right?
Dave Thomas.
And Dave Thomas is you can't look at him, wish him good luck, or talk to him, and this whole thing. And he comes up and he's standing there on the table. And his valet comes over and talks to me, and he's like, "Yeah, this is Dave Thomas." I'm like, "Okay, it's Dave Thomas. This is a Rio. This is back when Marnell owned it, and it's a $25 game to boot." So at the time, the going rate for like reserving a side of a game, if you came in like 10 grand, they give you like a side of the table. If you came in enough money, they might raise the limit to a $100 game. And then if you really came in a ton, you could get a cap game reserved, right? Because we had celebrities up to kazoo.
Action,
The action on dice was outrageous.
Kerry Packard famously played.
Packard played there. We had him for one weekend. Lauren missed that weekend. That was a great toke weekend. Well, that was back when we had the Smith brothers, Kerry Packard, and we had Larry Flint, and his brother was in. I mean, it was one of those things. Well, so the Dave Thomas is so he wants this get a reserve side. I bring my pit manager over and he's like, "Oh yeah, Dave Thomas, sure." He literally he doesn't even ask him what he wants to do. He's Dave Thomas, got a valet. He's like legit, and he comes up and switches the sign. He reserved, and he had this one guy there hasn't made a bet. He asked the guy to please go to the other side of the table because all Dave Thomas wants him, and Dave Thomas puts out $500 bills on the table. And I'm like, and my pit manager comes up, whoa, wait, what's going on here? $500? You can't, this isn't going to work for $500. And he's like, yeah, but it's Dave Thomas. Like, I don't care if it's Jesus.
Yeah.
You got to come in more than 500. We can't reserve this table. That guy that I just shoot away was going to come in more than 500. You know what I mean? So it didn't matter. But I know that in this business, it's lots of entitlement. You guys like that, they're a dime a dozen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they think somehow they're not the same humans that the rest of us are, for whatever reason. All right. So, are you a gambler?
I am not anymore.
Okay.
I was when I first broke in like anybody else, but
Yeah.
at some point, that money started meaning something to me more
Yep.
than the rush or the fun of gambling.
Yeah.
And the whole, I'm doing it for 8-10 hours a day,
Yep.
then going to do it on my own. So
Yeah.
I really don't partake anymore.
Yeah, Alex is a gambler, as you all know. Those of you who come out here and play. I'm around table games so much. I got to the point where I used to be a very competitive table game player, and I got to the point where you just don't want to be around table games all day. You want to go home and take it, just leave it. So I do play a little keno, but that's not a thing. All right. So anything you could share about, I know, the future of the Strat, or where you want to see, where do you see the Strat? I mean,
we've got a lot of opportunities on that property. Golden's an up and coming company.
Yep.
We have space around the property. We have space in the property. So I expect us to continue to grow and
Yeah.
great things to continue to happen there. We're we don't mind taking chances. I know on the casino side,
Yeah.
I put new games in. I take
Yep.
shots. I do things like putting our Instagram on the layouts and letting people take pictures, or
Yep.
letting you guys live stream when no one
Yep.
else would.
That's right.
I'm okay taking chances, and the great part is, I've done a good enough job there that Golden's given me some leeway to take some of those chances.
You can hashtag your winning. So that's the thing. They got hashtags right on the game. So if you got a big hand or you hit they would love for you to take a picture and show it and share it.
The thought process was, when you go on vacation, you take a picture of your food and you share it. You take a
Yep.
picture of your room and you share it.
That's it.
Take a picture of the artwork on the property and
Yep.
share it. The most exciting thing you should be doing in Vegas is gambling and winning big. Why not take a picture and share it with your family and friends?
That's it. And everyone's a content creator now. Everyone shares with their family and their friends. Exactly. So that's you don't have to have a YouTube channel to want to do that. All right. So I got some other stuff here. Yes. What else?
John, thank you for the $15 super chat.
Thank you,
John from
sir.
21 Casino Fun Nights.
John, what?
John S. from
Oh,
21.
John, thank you, sir. Can't wait to see you. John's going to come out here soon. We're going to work on that casino fun night operation. Thank you, John. All right, so I have a few cutting, insightful things, but first we're going to finish with the Strat real quick. We're going to wrap this up for those of you who want to. So you just so you know, the Strat is a real tall. It's when you come to Vegas, the tall thing that you see,
big tall
the
thing,
big
the
tall
landmark.
building, the landmark. It's literally like there it is, a big tall building, and on the very top of that, just so you know, there's a lot going on. So they have this like ridiculously fast elevator that just whisks you up to the top. And they have one of the top grossing restaurant in Vegas, and one of the top in the country is called Top of the World. We've eaten there quite a few times, actually. In fact, every time I want to really impress someone that I'm here in Vegas, and this is what the Strip is like, or this is what Vegas is like, I mean, there's no greater view. Like, it's impossible. Like, physically impossible.
Physically
That's the view.
impossible.
You know,
That's
there's no place to be.
And the food doesn't get much better either.
No,
the food is great.
Yep.
You know, as good as anywhere in the city.
And it's it's a little more expensive. You pay for the view, but for $100, it's not that expensive. There's places that are much more expensive. So the view is outrageous. The only other view that compares is the Foundation Room. Has like this really cool balcony that extends out. Foundation Room, Mandalay Bay, right?
Correct.
Yeah, Mandalay Bay. So, but in terms of like literally like being able to see everything. Okay, so then you have they actually have rides. They have rides on the top of this bad boy. Oh my God, it's called the Sky Pod.
Correct.
You can jump off the Strat, just so you know.
Yeah.
You can literally jump off the Strat. You
Not
can
only
jump off of that building.
Tomorrow at midnight,
Yeah.
we're doing a live human basically ball drop at midnight. We did a contest and somebody won it, and they get to jump at midnight in a lit up suit, and it's the Vegas version of the ball drop going to happen tomorrow.
Oh God, that's just.
You want to come down and do it?
No, I'm out. I can't even walk to the. So they have an ultra lounge that's just above the restaurant that they serve. You go have cocktails, and by the way, fairly affordable cocktails.
Best happy hour in town.
With the view, like literally lounge view all the way around, comfortable seating, all this other stuff. Me and Alex have, of course, COVID hit, but we had plans to kind of be up there, kind of doing our thing, but yeah, so they have this plank. I've actually gotten to the point where you can see the door that goes out to where you could see, and that's as far as I get. I could look over and be like, hey, nice to see.
The great thing to do is sit in the lounge and watch the people eating dinner as someone jumps off and they don't realize it, and what just happened? Somebody just jumped off the building.
God. By the way, the restaurant goes around every 80 minutes, makes a rotation.
Correct.
And you know what's interesting? For those of you who live in Toronto and are familiar with the CN Tower, by the way, where's the cameras now? Is this one the camera? This is the camera? Okay. For those of you familiar with the CN Tower, well, because there used to be a camera over there. Anyways, it's the same guy who was a designer. This is the same designer worked on this tower as well as the CN Tower in Toronto. So the same architect had some role to play. Yeah. So. Either one of the elevator tour guides had mentioned this, or someone up there. Okay, which is very cool because quite literally that's one of my favorite places. They have a Spinnaker, I believe, is the name of the restaurant that's on the top there, and I have very fond memories of going there when I was a kid. But anyways, okay, so you can jump off Guinness Book of World Records jump. It has the highest commercial descent. A commercial, I'm assuming, because you pay. I can't imagine a non-commercial descent that's any higher.
Don't do this at home. Don't set up your own sky jump at home.
I mean, can you imagine? Like, that's the distinction. Yeah, somebody has like a taller building that you're jumping off. That doesn't make any sense. And you get up to like 40 miles. So basically, it's like a tether. And you jump off the top.
Yeah, it's controlled descent. Yeah.
It's a controlled descent all the way to the base. But what? Oh God, I would need diapers.
I think we should get you out there and do it. I think your YouTube followers would love that. We can arrange for that to be streamed. And
So they also have they have a few other rides, by the way. That's not it, just in case. They have one that shoots up higher, right? It goes straight up into the air. The big shot. And then they have
Insanity.
Insanity. Just the name of it right there.
And X-Scream.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, no, I'm out. Anyways, there you go. So you can go and enjoy your rides up there. Fantastic.
And honestly, right now, it's one of the only things to do in Vegas because a lot of the attractions and shows are shut down.
So shut down, yeah.
You can still go up and safely, under COVID protocols, ride some of the rides.
How fantastic. Yeah, sure. Wait in line, folks, because I won't be in front of you. All right. So just as a matter of
I think if we Alex, if we can get donations up to what? $100, $200 during
Million?
this episode, I'll make sure that he jumps off the building.
God. Oh, no. It's not happening, just so you know. Don't waste your money because it's a no. Okay. So a few things that we've done, because we haven't done everything, but we'll talk about, like, so me and Alex have been to the new PTs. We love that PTs is in there. And we've had the turkey burgers, and we had wings. At one point, everything was fantastic.
Quesadilla is one of my favorites.
Oh, we haven't had the quesadillas yet.
Superfood salad.
Yep.
Good.
And so it's basically, it's a PTs. It's like it's a sports bar, and you can eat like right there at the bar if you want to, or they have a separate dining area, which is nice. The other thing I will say that even Brian doesn't know. So the Strat Cafe is actually very good.
Well, I knew it was good. I just didn't know about the sandwich you asked me about.
They really like it's quite something, because you just order a burger and on the menu it's just like hamburger and with a regular sort of, and then it comes out and you're like, wow, this is kind of artwork right here. It's like a crafted burger. It actually is like they put some thought into it. It's not one of these menus like you go to a lot of cafes and they have like 100 items, you know, and you can't do all those items well. You got to look for the menu that has less. They do better with less. You know what I mean? Less things. They focus, quality. All right. Anyways, so here's the thing. So we got a few pointed questions because after all, you are a casino VP. That's big. You know what I mean? It's big.
It pays the bills.
It's big. Okay. So here's a couple things. So tourism in Vegas. What do you think? It's going to explode or it's going to contract?
No, it's absolutely going to explode. It's you can't replicate the experience you get in gaming and in a casino. You know, when the riverboats started popping up, they're like, oh, Vegas is going to die. When Atlantic City was getting, oh, Vegas is going to die.
Nope.
It's just more customers, more exposure to it. And right now, especially with the tough year people are having, anybody that is able to have some fun, that has the financial means to have some fun, they're going to want to come here and just let loose when it's safe and have a good time. So I would imagine once we get this pandemic behind us and everybody's safe and healthy, that we're going to see a great explosion of customers wanting to experience what they get in Vegas.
I mean, when we opened back up in June, that drive-in traffic was ridiculous. Even though some casinos, not the Strat, but some of those mid-strip casinos that really need, airplanes in the air, like the Aria, but local places were just literally had to wait in line. There was some Indian reservations had to wait in line. You literally had to call in advance to, reserve a spot for yourself. So I really think that we're set to explode. People are going to want to literally get out of their house. If you have any money, even if you don't have money, sadly, there are people, who will come to Vegas. And maybe just for the experience, they're going to come for...
Well, and that's it. Everybody's like, why, if right now with shows shut down or restaurant restrictions and all that, why not just go to your local casino? Why would people come to Vegas?
Right.
Because it's still Vegas. It's still a better story to tell your friends.
Yep.
I turned $5 into $500 on keno in Vegas than I did at my local riverboat or my local tribal casino. It's just a better story, a better experience.
And where else can you jump off a 829 feet jump? You can't do that at home. All right, so the other thing is, interestingly, there's a lot of North Strip. So, you're North Strip. Yep. A lot of stuff happening on the North Strip. You got Resort World coming. Yep. You have the convention center completely built out. You're now, and I've heard that the Boring Company has sort of finished their terminal at Convention Center, so that was a big deal, $58 million. They put out a map a couple weeks ago, which was basically what their plan was with the county. So getting around now isn't going to be much of a thing. The cab drivers must be not all that happy about this, because my guess is that this is going to happen one way or another, but it's going to connect, like literally the Strip is going to be easy.
It's what the monorail should have been, right? It should have been connecting down the center Strip, connecting the airport to everything. Yep. I don't know where this plan's going to head. I did see what Elon posted out and the Boring Company, and to me, I think it's amazing, that you can get to anywhere underground, save on traffic, and I think it's going to be a great thing if he can get it through.
Yeah, so that was always the thing, is how do you move traffic up and down the Strip? I remember many years ago, Steve Wynn had talked about eventually it was just going to be either a parking lot or you'd have to just cover the strip like they did downtown and just make it a pedestrian walkway. I mean, even now, pre-COVID, obviously, you would get to a point where the strip was just ridiculous on the weekends. It's so hard to get anywhere. You know what I mean? You had to build all these, like City Center, they were selling all those apartments and having to build access out the back in order for people because it was just locked up. But I think we recently toured, a lot of the convention area stuff, and it's close to you. I mean, it's getting really close because it took over that whole Riviera thing. It sort of wraps around the front, and so a lot of good. So what do you think about resorts coming?
I think it's always great. More people is always better.
Yep.
More. They wouldn't be our direct competition. They're probably more direct competition to the Wynn across the street. But I don't think the Wynn's worried about them either. The more bodies we can get, the more new attractions we can get, has always been good. Everything new in the city has always helped everything around it.
Yeah. I mean, I've always heard that. I mean, if you look to all the sort of the legacy people that even like Derek, we went to saw the opening of Circa, and Derek had this whole presentation about it's the rising tide, rise all ships. I mean, and that's the thing. Like Circa isn't there to compete with other down because a lot of people are like, okay, Circa's going to dwarf downtown. There's going to be less. But post-COVID, maybe now there's, you're kind of struggling for customers in some cases. But post-COVID, it's another attraction. It's another reason to come to Vegas. I mean, it's and having more rooms and having more convention center space, this kind of thing kind of builds it out. Okay.
Well, Resorts World is in locations other casinos aren't,
That's
so
it.
We're pulling from more countries where
That's
their
right.
other properties are. They're more of an international company.
Yeah.
And it's going to maybe bring new customers to Vegas. So I think it's a great thing.
Yeah, no, for sure. I still wish they still had the panda exhibit. I heard they got rid of the panda exhibit, but because we have the panda right here.
The panda.
Alex could have been down there checking out the pandas because if you didn't know, he's Panda Alex. Okay, so here's the other big question we get asked a lot: ETGs or table games?
I think there's a place in the market for both of them, but I don't believe that ETGs are going to take table games out and they're going to disappear.
Yeah.
Again, you can't replicate that live experience.
That's it. So ETGs, for those of you, is like electronic table games, like bubble craps. You see the electronic roulette tables.
The newest ones, the dealer assist ones, where there's one dealer and multiple terminals.
Yeah. So I did play a role analyzing data associated with some trials, and as much as table games they had hoped to make maybe a dealer free table, the truth is that people that play ETGs tend to bet in small denominations. You know what I mean? Their bankroll's a lot smaller. They don't invest $100 they might be in $5 or $20. And yes, it's like you go to a bar for a bartender to serve you, and same thing with dealers. You want that.
Well, and that's what it's going to revolve into. It's going to be that lower entry customer that is maybe new to gaming and doesn't isn't comfortable risking or doesn't have that big a bankroll. And it now becomes cost effective for us to offer a $1 blackjack game, whereas with labor and benefit costs, we can't offer a live $1 blackjack table.
Yeah, so you can have like both those experiences.
Absolutely.
Right? So you can just, whatever you come to. So interesting on that about the dealer experience. So we get a lot of feedback from our dealers, and you implemented a change. Can we talk about this?
Absolutely.
All right. So they keep their own tokes.
We do.
Which is quite a throwback. There's not a lot of jobs in town. The only one I know of here in town is Ellis, and they also keep their own tokes. It's sort of on a rotation. They do these 30. But your dealers are doing very well.
They are.
Throughout the pandemic. The toke rate is literally. I had a woman, I'll tell you who she is later. Her husband is an Air Force, works on the Air Force Base. You guys, hello guys. I know you know who I'm talking about. She started working for you. You were. I think she might have started with you at Sahara, and then she followed you to the Strat. And at first, toke rate was a bit low, and
very low, consistently for years and years and years.
And then all of a sudden, she does $7,000 in a weekend. Now that doesn't happen all the time.
It's happened more than I expected it to happen, but which is amazing.
Amazing. And she's here almost in tears talking about, it's been life-changing. She went from, because a lot of people, so this was originally a break-in pad, and now, it's funny because now it's hard to break in at the Strat. It's not a break-in job.
Unfortunately, and You alluded to that earlier, how
Yep.
our relationship started. You know,
Yep.
at the Sahara.
Yep.
I kept getting the same retread dealers. You
Yep.
know, that as soon as they found a job that paid them $5 a day more, they'd leave me, and I was
That's right.
tired of turning over. And that's when I came to you guys and said,
Yep.
hey, just give me brand new dealers that I can train. That way, I know I get them for a year or 18 months.
That's it.
And that evolved into the Strat as well. Same
Yep.
thing. We signed that exclusive deal where, hey,
Yep.
I'll take all my new dealers right from you.
Yep.
But you know, coming out of COVID, I'm trying to figure out how to compete. How do I compete with masks
Yeah.
on and plexiglass and less customers for more places? And I said, you know, how do I get my dealers to be engaged? You know
Yep.
what? Capitalism will work. I say, you keep whatever you
Yep.
make, and they'll do the rest for me. And
Yep.
it has gone so much better than I expected.
So, I mean, if for keeping your own tokes translates in a lot of ways. Number one is customer service is through the roof.
Through the roof.
Like you literally, if someone has to earn their tokes, like if they have to go out and literally smile and do all the right things all day long, it's a game changer. I mean, I remember even working at the Rio, there was always the one person who just refused to smile because everyone else just carried that one person, and you knew who it was.
Yeah.
Or you would in the break room they'd just be complaining and commiserating about and this guy's toking or this woman's toking, whatever the case is, and you knew that we could have probably made more if you weren't such a sourpuss. We were at the Strat one day. We run into one of our fans who was playing blackjack there, and of course that dealer didn't know who we were. Not everybody does, and I mean they were the friendliest. I mean they were just all friendly. The engagement is literally like off the charts.
I've been incredibly impressed with them and,
Yep.
and what it's done. And there's obvious stories. You see dealers that been there since day one. They didn't know how it was going to go,
Yep.
and roulette, they'd spin the ball as hard as they could so that they could just kind of stand there and watch TV or watch casino games for a while.
Yeah.
Now it's, let me get a spin, because I know every spin I get is
Yep.
another dollar that I can earn a tip on.
That's it. So it's quite something. You know what? This reminds me of something that I was told about you before I actually even met you. So before I met you, Alex had known you, and we had a dealer here who went to the Cosmo, straight from Sahara floor. You know what I'm talking about? The Cosmo hired like 7 people straight off of your floor, and because you had set it up for them to rotate to high limit, they got the experience they needed to pass that audition.
We were in a unique position at SLS that we took big enough betting limits
Right.
that our dealers got experience playing,
Yep.
dealing to bigger players and bigger checks.
Yep.
And the entire management team came from the Wynn, so we told
Yeah.
them to deal the game the same they would at the Wynn. So
Yeah.
that we were losing dealers left and right.
I mean,
if they had the
Yeah.
SLS and they were a good dealer, good personality, and we gave them exposure to high limit, they were
Yep.
getting jobs everywhere.
I mean, by the way, that's quite the jump. I mean, back in the day, I used to have a friend of mine, Steve, who managed the pit at Sahara many years ago. Back when they were struggling. Bill Bennett, of course, used to be associated with the Sahara. He's a legend, by the way. You can look him up. Actual legend in Vegas. So. And he was a dealer's boss, loved dealers. There's the epic stories of him hooking up dealer crews, especially crap crews, is literally legendary. He would call up, the dealers one day wouldn't be making a whole bunch of money. He would call up some friends of his, have them come down. You guys better toke on that game. And they would come down,
love that
open a
guy.
game. You know what I mean? Now I never got to deal. This is sort of secondhand information, but I can only imagine. All right, so, all right, we're going to finish this out a little bit. So, you have any other insights for us? Anything else you want to add to the our podcast? Anything you want to?
I want to get you to jump off the Strat. So, I mean,
Not happening.
Hold
By the
on.
way, we're at like $35. Yeah, it's not a thing.
I got.
Oh no,
I
no,
got
no.
40. I can
No,
add to.
we don't want 40. Take your money back, sir. Put it in a keno
Wait, hold on,
machine.
there's some more. I got 40,
Oh,
48.
God, yeah, that's not happening.
See, I'm not a gambler. I don't walk around with a big gambler's wad.
No, this is good. Yeah, I got to leave my ATM cards always at home, just so you know. What's weird is like, so I used to was an RTO in the military. And I used to have to sit in hell seat all the time, where they hang you out the side basically, because back then a Prick 77 weighed, my ruck was 110 pounds, or about 108 pounds, I guess. But anyways, but my radio, my backup wire, my long short whip and stuff like this is like 65 pounds. And it would take up the whole seat. Like literally my ass was nowhere. There was nothing under my ass. And I would be tied down. And the reason you had to hook up into the top of the helicopter, right? And of course, you had to, I don't know what, at some point later on in life, you would think hanging off the end of a helicopter, strafing these trees, I'd be okay with some heights, but no, it's not a thing. It's just absolutely ridiculous radar. All right. So as you know, someone is going to be jumping off. They're going to be doing the New York Times thing.
New York Times
at the
midnight,
ball, human ball at midnight. But no fireworks. The only place we know of in town that's doing fireworks is the Plaza. We're not sure why, because we heard that the city asked and the county asked people not to. They just don't want the attention. They don't want people to come here.
We don't want big gatherings right now. We want to keep everybody safe.
Yeah, so I know that there's like New Year's events throughout different venues for smaller groups, this kind of thing, but nothing real big. Now the Strip 2, by the way, is only going to be closed from here. I got it. Spring Mountain to Reno, which is just south of Trop, so just past Trop if you're coming from Spring Mountain. It used to always be closed from Sahara to Russell, like literally the whole breadth of all the way past the Mandalay Bay, and then starting with SLS Sahara. And then any of the ramps, by the way, from the 15, those will be closed actually. So the ramps coming onto the Strip will be closed. So my recommendation is on New Year's usually, unless you make sure you have a destination and kind of figure out how to what the easiest way to get there.
Definitely going to be a different New Year's this year.
I mean, what's strange is I'm hoping that I can't wait to see this year go, but the next year it makes me nervous. I feel like. People are not going to be. People aren't going to get over this quickly.
No, it's going to take a while. But very very wise person told me through this is it's better to live in interesting times than not, and to be able to say you managed a business, managed a casino, whatever it might be through this, and came out the other side is going to be one of your proudest moments that we overcame this incredible adversity.
No, I agree. I mean, we got through 9/11, we got through the recession. I mean, Vegas always seems to, come out stronger. We take some hits, and we just keep going. All right. So I guess now we're gonna open up to some questions that have been moderated a little bit because any of you crays out there.
Wait, what was the worst one that you didn't put through there, Alex?
Let's start with the worst. Oh, that's a rough one, I'm sure.
Choosing the best ones here. Okay, we got one. Here you go. You ready?
Yes.
Okay.
On the Strat for lots of reasons, come a long way the past few years. Yeah, how did that happen? Oh, yes. Well, yeah.
So, yeah, obviously, it was when I moved to town, it was if you can see the shadow of the Strat, you're in the wrong neighborhood.
You were.
But, Golden has done a great job. They've bought in. And now the Arts District just north of us, there's some cool breweries going in, some cool restaurants, some cool stores.
Yep.
It's just the natural evolution of neighborhoods. And I think it's going to be a great segue to go from the Strip to the Strat to the Arts District to downtown.
Yep.
And it really is just caring, right? We take care of the property, we take care of the areas around us, and we want to see it grow, and it's just a great opportunity.
So it's changed, man. And since Brian's been there, it has changed so much. If you haven't been to the Strat in a long time, you won't recognize the property. Even if you haven't been there, I would say in 2 years or a year.
Easy. Best compliment I received was I brought an executive from Aria over, who's a friend of a friend, and we watched a Packer game last year, and he's like, if you blindfolded me and dropped me here, the Strat is the last place I'd guess I'd be. That's how much we've changed it.
Yeah, it's amazing. It really is amazing. I can't even. I used to go there when it was Resorts World. That's the thing for me. I used to see the little display that Stupak had up in the. So they had this little sort of thing, and they had a display with what he was going to do with it, how was he going to build it. I mean, it's amazing to have seen the tower.
Yeah.
And see this all sort of unfold, and then now to see it, it's quite something. I mean, I love playing there. You have all the newest slot machines. You got everything. I mean, I was there with Lauren, who's like lives around slot machines. We found everything. We wanted to play. You need more 20-card keno, sir. That's the only thing.
20-card keno.
20-card keno. That's right.
I think I know the guy in charge of slots. We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see what we can do about that.
20-card keno. All right, what else you got?
Okay. Can you read the question out loud so they can hear it too?
Oh, sell me? Oh, Robert B. Sell me on the Strat.
Hey, if you want to have a good time and you want to be in a clean, fun environment, I don't know where else you would go right now. The simple fact that the dealers are going to root for you and have a good time and give you the experience that you want if you're a table games player.
Yep.
The fact that the floor is set up socially distanced. That was one of the main things I did when I took over slots during the pandemic was, give some people some space, so that you have room and you can hang out and not have to worry about, someone being next to you, so you can be comfortable. And I think that's the way slot floors are going to continue into the future is, we're not going to see these 2,000 machines jam-packed into 5,000 square feet.
Yep.
And, give some people some space and give them a good experience. I think we have world-class food. We have great entertainment plans coming forward when that's allowed. I don't know why you wouldn't come hang out there, local or tourist.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna keep selling it, man. The food is right there, by the way. Anything, you got PTs right there by the casino. You have, there's a number of bars that are sort of on the outside. Everything is very accessible. And then if you do have kids or, you have the rides, the cafe is actually very good. I haven't been to the steakhouse. Or you have like a little more upscale restaurant. Is that open now or is that?
McCall Steakhouse has not been reopened yet.
Not yet, reopened. Okay, so, yeah. I mean, and it's affordable, by the way.
Free valet parking.
And free valet parking. Yeah, so it's affordable. So, like, literally, if you go a few blocks up, not so affordable. I mean, kind of the dynamic change. So I think for our average gambler, it's the place to start, at least, and see where you're at.
We offer good rules. You get 3-2 on blackjack.
3-2 on blackjack. See, that's what I mean. I mean, come on. And the rooms, by the way, I've stayed at the rooms recently twice. Yeah. And they're all remodeled, by the way. All the rooms are renovated, completely remodeled, and they come with all the amenities you'd expect. It's really, I mean, it's a whole different place. There you go. All right, what else we got?
Ready?
Yep. Oh.
You gonna read it?
I mean, okay. So is the Strat gonna get an SR table, and you want to consider better odds for craps like 100 times odds?
100 times odds is a tough thing to do because only a few people take advantage of it and the volatility of it is there. So, it's a great selling point. I don't know anybody. Is there anybody left in town that does 100 times?
No, Cromwell used to.
Used to, yeah.
And like you said, there's so few people. Who takes 100 times odds? Eric. There's a few of our fans that are big 100 times odds. But, I mean, the number of people that literally take even 10 times odds on a game.
It's very few.
It's very few. Yeah.
So it's it's a selling point, but it would be something where really sharp people would come in or really people with big bankrolls come in and the volatility might be more than we could handle right now, but I wouldn't rule anything out in the future. SR has been discussed. We just opened our brand new high limit room, currently just Baccarat and Blackjack, but if we can get that type of play, I'm not opposed to doing what a couple other places have done. I think the Link maybe has a $25 SR.
25
not
right
SR,
on the floor.
just single zero. They don't deal it
Single
European
zero,
style. They just deal it single zero. So it definitely is possible, yes.
We teach SR. We're the only school in Las Vegas certified to teach single zero roulette, by the way. So that's big. I mean, by the way, so back not too long ago, well, pre-COVID anyways, the Cosmo was looking. The only dealers they wanted to see were SR. Wynn too. They wanted you to have SR. That's like sort of the next level. For those of you out there grinding away at roulette, you got to have a little roulette under your belt. You got to be very comfortable pushing chips, because they don't play on SR. The Europeans, they don't play on those tables.
That's the thing. We'll need air travel to be significantly more before that segment of game comes back as well.
Before the SR table. So yeah, and here's the interesting thing: you don't get rated on your odds on a crap table most places. So can you imagine
nowhere
that?
in the city that I know of. I know some local places, some Reno places rate odds or half the odds or something like that.
Yeah, a little piece of it.
Yeah.
Can you imagine having $5 with 500 odds and only getting rated $5?
That's
ouch. No buffet for you. By the way, no buffets. That's so Wicked Spook, Cosmo Buffet shutting down.
Buffets are tough, man. Big overhead, not a lot of margins.
Yeah.
It's going to be a tough road back for buffets, even post-COVID, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's going to be rough. Cosmo, by the way, very foofy buffet there. I'll be honest with you, great food, but not my favorite because I could never understand what the hell I was eating. Unless it was a basket of fries, but some of the other stuff.
A bunch of crab legs.
I mean, I could never figure it out. They have weird names, and Aria, too, was like that. Ugh. Anyways, but there's that. There's my David's 2 cents. Love Aria, by the way. That's an interesting That's always an interesting property. But all right, what else we got? Oh, can I? Oh, here's already. I got to answer. I guess I got to read the question. You guys can't see this. Okay, is there or will there be a complimentary shuttle service to take customers from Center Strip to the Strat?
I would say what you mentioned earlier would be the best option is if Boring Company's able to get that on and you can get, from Center Strip to the Strat in a couple of minutes. But at current, I don't know of any service, and I don't think we're planning to do anything like that. But
you know what you have? I don't know if you know that you have this, but on my phone, because I'm a player now at the Strat, I got my points up. I got the next tier. I think I moved up a couple tiers at the Strat, Golden Entertainment, so that's fantastic. And not for all that much play, by the way. I don't know what the tier points are, but I haven't been a big player. Alex has played more money than me.
Remember, our rewards club is all of Golden, so all of PTs, all of that. So we have more of a locals driven. Card program versus strip
some of the strip places. I have been sent free ride shares from you guys.
We do have that.
Asking me to, free $5 ride share to come on over to the Strat.
Yep.
Wow. So you did. So the answer is yes. You already have basically a free shuttle. It's fantastic.
Our ride share is pretty easy. Right in and out the back door, right off the casino floor. You don't have to go someplace crazy into a parking structure. So we're pretty easy in and out for ride share.
And that's pretty much genius, right? Because everyone's doing that except me, apparently. I'm the only one. I've actually taken my first ride share. The other day I did that.
Yeah.
I was at a meeting, a high-level meeting at the top of So I'm at this meeting at this. I was meeting the GM of another property, not doing as well as yours, by the way. We won't go into that, but and they were stunned that I'd never been on a rideshare. They couldn't understand how the hell I couldn't have been on a rideshare, and I said, "Well, I don't drink." And they were like, "Oh, that makes sense."
You know where it gets me is going to the airport. I don't have to call a friend and say, "Hey, can you take me to the airport?"
I don't
have
fly.
To rely on a cab. Oh.
I don't drink and I don't fly.
I don't drink. I don't fly. I don't jump off a building.
I don't jump off but tall 800-foot buildings. Wait, by the way, the Strat, I think it's like 1,000, right?
It's 1140 if I had to guess, 1127.
Yeah, something like that.
I should probably know the answer to that, but I do
big.
not.
It's up there. All right, what else we got? I'll read this one, I promise.
Okay.
Jesus, you'd think I remember. Oh my God, Eric. Yeah, I don't have to read that. Just put that away. Next question, please.
I'll put up $100 towards it, or a $100 charity donation
no way in
his name if David promises to jump off the Strat.
Yeah, no.
100 for charity. How do you say no to the children?
Yeah, I'll give that 100 to the children. They'll be eating at my house next week. No problem. Sorry, Eric. Bye. Anyway, all right. What else we got?
Oh, hold on. Let me go to the next one.
Just thinking about it, sitting here terrifies me.
I won't do it.
I saw the whole walkway, because there's like a cage thing, a safety thing they have to go through. And dude, I couldn't even get like close to the thing. They, I don't know if this is, you used to be able to see the floor underneath. Where is that in there? You can actually walk out onto the floor and look straight down.
No, we don't have that. It was proposed for a while, I think, back in the day.
Really?
One of those, like the bridge out at the Grand Canyon.
Grand Canyon, man. I thought you guys had that, but there's no way in hell. All right, what else
you
got?
You can go right up against the window and lean out.
No, it's not. No, it's not a thing. Yeah, it does. I just, no. Mm-mm. All right, what else? You got anything else? Casino Quest. I know. So, by the way, we've sort of had this talk about potentially having, Casino Quest meetup and have a pit.
Done deal.
Yep, and we'd have everybody come out and play. Oh, so the question is, can we have a Casino Quest meetup weekend at the Strat after COVID ends?
100%, no problem. We'll set aside whatever tables. You get a group of your fans that want to come out. We'll make sure they have a good time.
So the next question is going to be, can we have $5 tables, sir?
Actually, hold on. Let me bring up, that was actually my next question.
Oh, really? Oh, see? I'm way ahead of you. Oh, in what situation do you see $5 craps tables coming back? Good question.
So we would have to remove, it's supply and demand. So we would have to remove the COVID restrictions. Only having 6 people allowed on a craps table, and we have such high demand that our craps tables are running higher than they did pre-COVID because, we went from having 36 spots available to having 18 spots available.
Yeah.
And craps has been a game that has not suffered as much as some of the other games. So we've been running $25 games on weekends and having people waiting to play. I would love to get $5 games back because a $5 game on a craps table, you still could be invested $30, $40, $50 if you're betting
easy,
across or the numbers or field or odds, whatever you're betting.
Yep.
So I would love to be able to offer that. We, again, supply and demand. If it's slow enough and you see the game's 10 and it's dead, ask the supervisor. And my expectation would be that they would let you play 5 and leave the game at 10.
Yeah, and by the way, I can attest to the table being $25 and busy at the Strat. Can you imagine? For those of us, I've been here 30 years. I mean, it's unbelievable what you've done with that place. But all right, what else do we got? Will you be cutting your hair, David? Will you be cutting your hair like Brian? By the way, I did cut my hair like that previously. All right.
Yeah.
This is a choice.
That is
not out of necessity.
Oh my God, that's it.
It would grow if I let it.
I'm going to Bosley soon, buddy. Okay, I'm going to be the Bosley's like star player. All right, any more questions?
Oh, we got plenty.
Oh, really? All right. Well, this poor man, he's got to sleep.
How
much time you got?
6:30. I got at least a little while before I got to go let the dog out, so I'm
All
okay.
right.
Like 10,
All right.
15 minutes?
No problem.
All right, perfect. All right, get him in, guys. Yeah. Saw Andy. All right, what is your point of view of the online casino industry? Do you believe it will grow?
Yeah, I think it will grow. Again, I don't think it's going to supplant the regular casino.
Right.
Again, you can't replicate that in-person thing, but
Yep.
there is a segment of people that maybe are more comfortable sitting in their living room, or they don't
Yep.
have the ability to travel and they still want to have a gaming experience. I think it's who's going to be able to make that experience as realistic as possible.
Right.
And is it, I know there's some companies out there where they just have dealers standing in a warehouse dealing games and then broadcasting it live.
Yep.
What I think would be more entertaining is the ability to play a live table at the STRAT over the internet, be it through one of our apps or websites or through a third party. I think that's a place that the casino business could go. It's basically electronic backline betting. I'm walking through the casino and I want to bet on that game. I see 10 red in a row on a roulette game as I'm scrolling through the STRAT, and I'm able to bet it electronically. So I think anything that adds a revenue stream, obviously we're going to be open to as long as it's regulated properly and it's safe and secure. But I think it'll grow, but I don't ever think, like some people, that it'll supplant live gaming.
No, I totally agree. By the way, I love that idea. I mean, our thing is always like it's our fear is that it's not regulated enough right now. Like when you go online, it's hard to figure out, okay, who owns which casino and where are they located, and we were playing a Big Six the other day that we thought was kind of looked a little bit motorized, and then there's the roulette wheel. Some of you guys had the experience with Alex the other day on Discord, and it looked like there might have been some magnets that were just kind of balls just jumping around a little bit too much.
Like those old poker websites where people are looking at your cards.
Yeah. So but if you have a regulated entity, because the great thing about the casinos here, obviously they go through a lot of scrutiny all the time. Everybody has if you're a key license employee, you gotta have a key license, so you got to go through extra background checks. Everything's legit. So if you could bet on, from wherever on a legit Vegas bet, I mean that'd be like VR. You'd be home in your pajamas betting on that.
Even if you're in the casino, imagine the old keno lounges, or I'm just hanging out with you in the view lounge at the STRAT, and we're just having a chat, and I hear a roar over at the craps table. If I could just pull up my phone and be able to make a bet on that live game that's 10 feet away,
wow!
How great would that be to just hang out in the lounge in a comfortable environment, but also be getting the excitement that I can hear 5-10 feet away.
I love that you mentioned you were sitting at a keno lounge. I can see myself sitting at the keno lounge, hearing all the excitement on a crap table, is dialing it in. That's been. By the way, here's my next question. Any plans of a keno lounge coming to this trip? No. Damn it, that's it. I know. I'm out.
Per square foot, I don't know that we can make that work versus some other things.
Yeah, that's kind of dead space. Is people either dying or dead or no. Red Rock still has one, but hey, what are you gonna do? All right, ready? What else we got? Okay, do you get many blackjack players complaining about blackjack playing 6 to 5? Do you have 3 to 2 payouts?
Yes, the majority of our games are 3 to 2 payouts. We want to offer, a fair gamble for our customers. Of course, we do have some 6 to 5 games.
Yeah.
And those are, customers that either don't know any better or don't care, and they choose to play that.
Yeah.
But the majority of our games are 3 to 2. We want to offer, guys what they want.
Yeah. So we've dealt with this a lot, and yes, those people who are educated know about gaming get pissed off when they go down the strip and it's all 6 to 5 games, and that's why we tell you to be educated. Like, you come to Casino Quest and we'll tell you what the best odds are, and what casinos have which, and by the way, the casinos love that you're educated. They play the long game. It's they don't mind you having, being able to play basics, blackjack strategy.
Well, you think of the internet alone. The education level of blackjack players is doubled, tripled, whatever.
What it used to be.
Over the last 20 years, just because of the internet and people learning basic strategy. And we're still doing just fine. You see Blackjack numbers for the state come out, and it's one of the leading producers in the state.
So, like, and for dice, too, we teach strategies, we create opportunity. We want you to create as much opportunity. You see a hot roll, you can take advantage of it, win some money. And the casino doesn't mind you walking with a ton of money. They want you to win.
The best advertising we can get is people that win. At the end of the day, it's simple math. I know that I'm going to get a certain percentage of the money at the end of the year, and it's going to be enough to pay my employees and make a good return on investment for our investors. But we want to give people a fair shot, and
that's it.
Winners win. My guys don't sweat the money.
Yeah, no, that's so fantastic. When I started this, the first 5 years that I was in this business, I was not lucky. I went from one grinder chasing. I was one of those aprons who, back in the day, there wasn't a point to stay anywhere. It wasn't like that it was now with the MGM. Like, if I had gotten an MGM job, I'd have stayed with that and moved up in the business, this kind of thing. I worked for a lot of independents, and boy, a lot of money sweating, man. The pennies under the crap table, the changing the bowl and the stick. I've had the bowl changed on a live game. The bowl. What does the bowl have to do with the dice?
So, I've had that argument with some of my bosses in the past, whether it's rotate the shufflers or do this or do that. And I believe in the math of it is, right? It's a natural bell curve. It's due to do this, and it's eventually going to normalize.
Yep.
But if I change something along that curve, who's to say that it's not going to keep
That's
going
it.
that way instead of normalizing like it should?
I used to have a boss that threw pennies. I did know a boss that threw pennies under the dice game. And so basically, you wanted to know how pissed off he would be. You would look under the dice game. How many pennies? If you saw a pile of pennies, you knew just not to say anything, dummy up and deal. He was not in a good mood. And that's just.
I caught the tail end of that, breaking in the late '90s, and getting kicked in the leg, or hey, drop that shoe, or whatever. But you can't beat the math. If the game's on the square, and we're getting hands out, getting spins out, getting rolls out, the casino's going to do just fine.
And there's very few bosses like that left. By the way, they've all either died, expired, or moved on. I mean, especially at Brian's level. I mean, again, it's all about the math. There were still, it's gotten all corporate. I mean, you have a degree, and by the way, if you want to know the path, we did this episode with Scott about sort of the path in gaming to go from, he opened MGM Macau. He's had some pretty fantastic job. Now he's UNLV professor. And we talked about, what the path and how to get there and, what's opportunities. And of course, having a degree. So it used to be in the gaming business, you just sort of worked your way up from, a bingo caller to, like, there's literally a story at Station. Guy worked the bingo hall. Now it's no longer director of table games and on and on and on. But nowadays you really have to have a college degree.
It is. You have to have an understanding of what the degree is in. Does it have to be hotel management or hospitality? It probably helps. Yep. But understanding math and analytics and probabilities and things of that nature really help when you can make informed decisions on what games to put on the floor, what not to put on the floor, what's profitable and what's not profitable. But also having, I've worked for bosses that only had that. They came out of college with a degree, maybe worked a MAT program and worked a couple months in each department, and then it's all right, here, run gaming. I think having a little bit of experience as a dealer and a floor and a pit manager really helps understand the business, so that I have a little bit of both sides of it.
No, that's right. This is one of those careers, by the way. They really want you to have that sort of deep knowledge. It's hard to go from, let's say, being counter to like the front office, so to speak, right? Because you know what to look for. You know how that experience has translated over the years from being a dealer, from being a floor side. You've dealt with all these issues, especially at places like the Wynn. I mean, landmark casinos. All right, what else we got?
Okay, we got 3 more questions, I think. Okay. All right.
Okay. Oh, yes. This is a great question, by the way. I was literally like going, okay, so Brian, what led to the decision of allowing chip buy-ins with debit cards? How has it affected the play?
So the company that does that, ACS Play On, kind of came to us and pitched us, and they had a couple casinos in California, and I think they were down at the D and maybe one of the station's properties. And they came to us and said, hey, would you like to be the first one on the Strip to do this? And listen, I'm all about convenience. I don't want to wait in lines.
Yeah.
I don't want to, go through long, drawn-out processes to sign paperwork or do any of that. So anything that makes my life easier, Apple Pay or Venmo or whatever it is great for me personally. So I assume other people, I assume I'm the ultimate consumer. So I assumed other people would like that. And the ability to say, hey, I'm sitting at the table. Oh, man, the ATM's way over there, and there's 3 people in line, and then I got to get a receipt, and then I got to go to the cage, and then I got to come back with the cash, and I got to buy in. Versus, hey, I'm responsible. I know how much I want to lose. This is fair. It's easy to use, secure. It's a no-brainer for me. And that's one of the benefits that I think this pandemic is going to have is the ability to go cashless and get us to a point where chips are never going to go away, but maybe there's other options where I just put my phone up there and I have an account with Golden Gaming and I'm able to bet right on my phone at a blackjack table, and the cards are live and the dealer's live, but I'm betting on my phone. So anything that makes the experience easier, faster, more convenient, and gives the guest what they want, which is ultimately what's going to tell us if something works or not. And that the buying chips with your debit card has been a very successful program for us. We see it growing every month as to the amount of people that use it as they learn about it.
I mean, because at that point, if you're going to buy in, you're going to buy in.
Correct.
I mean, you're going to get up from your seat, you're going to go wait in line, and then, of course, now you got to hope you got your seat, maybe you're at a lucky seat.
Maybe you missed the cocktail waitress for the drink you just ordered.
Easy.
Obviously, if I'm buying in, I maybe lost the last hand, but maybe I want to keep playing that shoe. I feel lucky in that shoe, or the next shooter is me. And I don't want to miss my turn. Hey, I got to buy in. By the time I come back, now I got to wait 8 more people to get my turn to shoot. So anything that's convenient and makes the experience better for the guest, I'm all about.
When I play slots, my whole thing is I don't want to leave. If I'm on a machine and I'm chasing that machine, I mean, of course, I want to get back. Sometimes I got to have someone come over and watch my machine for me while I go to the ATM. It's this whole process.
We have a solution coming for that pretty quickly.
Oh, really? Oh, it's fantastic. All right, what else you got?
We got 3 more questions.
3 more questions. All right. All right, question. Being from over the pond, can I get comps if I only go to Vegas once a year?
Absolutely. We do trip by trip, so if you come into the casino, I tell everybody, get rated, ask the floor supervisor before you leave, hey, what did you have my action at? Floor supervisors are humans. They make mistakes. They're watching anywhere from 2 to 6 tables. It's a fair question to ask, hey, what did you have me at? And it's fair to say, hey, maybe you missed this bet. Maybe my average bet should be higher. And then always check in with VIP services or the casino host, because there's always something you can get. No matter how big or small you play, there's always a little something we can do. Even the smallest player in the building might have a coffee available, or the biggest player in the building, might have their whole next trip outside. So absolutely.
You always ask. Like, just because you don't play, what you think is a lot of money, casinos love having loyal patrons.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Even beforehand, if you're coming from across the pond, and depending on what your bankroll is and what you're playing, call and ask to speak to a casino host and say, hey, I'm coming over from across the pond. I'm bringing $500. What would you be able to do for me? Or I'm bringing $5,000. What would you be able to do for me? And the casino host is going to be able to tell you up front. They have guidelines and say, hey, if you come in, we'll put you in at a regular rate. If you show me some play, maybe we'll give you a casino rate. If you show me more play, we'll comp you.
Yeah.
It never hurts to ask. Always ask.
Always ask. I one of the things that I educate people on is asking before you leave your table, and ask how you've been rated.
Yeah.
And you want to ask then, by the way. You don't want to wait till 10 months later and you're like, well, I think I played more money. Just make it a habit before you leave.
It's always easier than having to review it later, and we'd rather have it be. It's an inexact science to begin with. It's trying to calculate how many bets you made at what and giving you an average. So if I got you down at a $25 average and you say, no, I think 40 is more fair, it probably is more fair.
Maybe they can work with you. Yeah, exactly. All right, what do we got?
Wow. I want to say, Mr. Rob Barnes, thank you for the $50 super chat. JK Golfer, thank you for the $50 super chat.
Oh.
Eric Skinner, thank you for the $50 super chat.
Oh, my God.
I think someone's jumping off of the strat.
That's not happening. But you guys better bring some weapons with you, buddy, okay? It's going to be a wrestling match.
2 more questions.
2 more questions.
Yes.
All right, we're here. Okay, how are the players being rated at the Strat for table games? How are players being rated?
It's pretty standard across the industry. We obviously rate your buy-in, but that doesn't affect the amount of points you get. It's just a rating transaction. But average bet times the house advantage on the game you're playing times the game speed gives us a theoretical number, which calculates to how many points you get. It's pretty much industry standard, but we're definitely very fair with our points. We do different drawings, kiosk games, multipliers. We're very aggressive, and like I said, more of a locally driven Players Club property. So,
okay, so I'll give you an example. I have played about $1,000 in cash over the course of a couple months, and I've had about $60 worth of dining. We ate for free the other day, in fact. I've had two, one of them expire, but I had two match plays, of which one of them I managed to play for a whole hour on nothing but match plays. That was pretty fantastic. I didn't have to buy in. Alex lost a ton of money. Not me. So it's easily, and by the way, so Golden Entertainment does have two other local properties in town, right?
Yeah, Arizona Charlie's.
So
Decatur and Boulder.
And these are absolutely catered to, local players, obviously.
We got two of them down in Laughlin.
And
Colorado
local
Bell
players
and
demand.
Aquarius and Edgewater.
And also, by the way, if those keno players out there, you guys pay $830 on the 5 spot. That's huge, by the way. You only get $750 at strip properties. Just so you know.
Man, I got to look into this.
You may be giving too much away.
I might be able to squeak out an extra percentage point here and go down to $810.
I was impressed because most strip properties it's $750 on a 5 spot. So
we're very competitive.
Yeah, you guys are very competitive. That's true. All right, what else we got?
Happy
New Year's, by the way, man. Before I forget. Oh yeah, last question. All right, go ahead, sir.
Last question.
Very last question. Oh my God, is Slippery Timmy going to be a dealer at the Strat? Do you even know Slippery Timmy?
I do not.
So Slippery Timmy just is. He does a 10-minute challenge, and quite spectacular. So he originally was a student here, and he's learned all the games, and it's uncanny how evil he is when it comes to blackjack. So everyone who has played the 10-minute challenge, they know this. He just takes everybody's money. I mean, it's absolutely just.
So remember that whole bell curve and how everything returns to a mean?
Yeah.
I would imagine I'd give him a job and he'd never win another
Yeah,
damn
never.
hand for
He
the
would
rest
just
of
be
his
a
life.
dump truck. So the funny is that we're always telling him casino managers are watching this video and they're gonna call in. You know how you look for a sports pitcher or something like this, that they're gonna one of these days they're gonna recruit Timmy.
Does he need a job?
I mean, he'll need a job soon because I'll fire him eventually. No, just kidding.
Tell you what,
he's our media. We love Timmy.
Timmy can have a job tomorrow if you jump off the building.
Oh, well, Timmy, you're going to be out of work for a minute, buddy. Get in the unemployment line, sir. Timmy, by the way, Timmy really, he is our media guy.
I know Timmy, yeah.
Yeah, so he is fantastic, man. I mean, we always say that everything seems to come in the front door of the school. All the things we've ever needed, it's like all the relationships we have. It's this fantastic sort of circle, of really wonderful people. This great network that we've evolved, and it just goes on and on. It's quite something. But anyways, all right. So Timmy, poor Timmy, he's gonna be out of place in a minute. We love you, Timmy. He's out there. He's working on his channel right now. He's a perfume guy. Just he's got a big following. He does Imagine Scent. There you go. Plug for Imagine Scent. All right. We want to thank Brian. We want to wish everybody a happy New Year.
Absolutely, happy New Year, everyone.
A safe New Year. Thank God we get to put 2020 in the rearview mirror. So I know a lot of you will be excited about that. Just don't be jumping off the Strat for any time soon. By the way. Anyways, it's so we love all of you. Thank you very much for the journey. Thank you very much for your questions, tuning in, and we're gonna be, we're doing this every week, every Wednesday. And Alex, do you want to jump in there and say Happy New Year? Because this is our kind of a last live.
Oh yeah, that's true.
We got Dennis here. We got Sticky on the controls. Dennis is new to our team. He's our front office admin. Come and say hello, sir. You got to get in the middle, so we're 6 feet, believe it or not, and Alex, of course, is going to be now at 3.5 feet.
Back up, sir. 6
Yeah,
feet that way.
Don't worry, because if David won't jump off, I'll jump off the Strat.
Yeah, there you go. That should have been the real challenge, is getting Alex off the Strat. All right, so there you go. Happy New Year, guys. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you, Brian, so much.
Thanks for having me, and to all your followers, come on down, ask for me. You'll see me on the floor. Say hi to me.
Yep. Yeah, good. He's the tallest guy on the floor, by the way. All right, there you go. See you guys. Take care. Bye. Thank you.
Okay, we're off.
We're off.
Fantastic, sir. That was good.